Good evening, one and all, and welcome back to the garage. Another Sunday edition of Andy the Gabby Cabby live chat. And I see that I have got lots of you here already. Very good to see you all as always. Appreciate the support. Lots of regular names. Let's have a quick roll call. Before I do, can I ask you all, please hit the like button as soon as you come in the house, because it helps the YouTube algorithm thingy push everything around everywhere. Morning Glory, hello. Cosmic War Toad, hello. Minge Pump, I always love your name. Gary Thornbury, Chris Card, Pete Nicolick, hello to all of you. Cosmic War Toad, you've said something about an operation. Are you okay? Let me know. Hello, Blood Nose, working as the moderator as always. Morrison's Monkey. Nigel the Handyman, hope you are well. Peter Snowling, Morham. Hi, Ryan, hope you're good and everything's well with you. Butts Unplugged, there's another one of my favourite screen names. Stuart, hello. Hi, Mum, hope you're all right and hope your new friend, wee Bonnie Lass, is all right this evening. Hello, Russ. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're well and Mother Hag's all right. Wow. Screwed Crime. Good evening, Andy and fellow brethrens. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're okay. Good to see you in a live. Chris, Emma, hello to you. And yeah, everyone's here. Erica, John Harris, Julie Baldwin. Wonderful. Good evening to everybody. And as I said, please whack that like button right at the off. Well, we've had... I always like to tell you a couple of personal things first before we get on to business. New dogs here. Bonnie, my mum, absolutely is in love. My son, Jack, is absolutely in love. In fact, let me see if I can find something here, and I will show you. I should have uploaded a picture, really. Put one on the screen straight off, but I am remiss. I am actually a little bit behind today, actually, recording all of my bits and pieces. So, there we go. This will do. That is my mum, Jack, who a lot of you will recognise, my young son, and little Bonnie in the middle. Let's try and zoom in. There she be, new little Westie. See, gorgeous, and getting quite big, quite quick. So Jack says that he wants to see her. I think once a week, wasn't it, Mum, or something like that? But in other words, he's quite taken, which is all good. We had Westies when I was growing up. They had puppies, and one was called Bonnie, the other Mac. Bless him. Yeah, Mum had a Westie before, Angus, and he lived to, I think, nearly 15, wasn't it? And unfortunately lost him a short time ago, and now we got Bonnie. So there you go. Another couple of personal things. A lot of you will be aware that have followed the channel for a long time. I had a good friend of mine, Kevin, that passed away nearly 2 years ago now from cancer. So, it's an awful loss. And anyone that ever says anything derogatory about anything like that, it's awful. You know, the organisations that support people with this need all the help they can get. Now, Kevin's son Peter, as I pointed out before, is doing a fundraiser. He plans on doing a bike ride, and I know he's in training for it. And I want to show you how we're doing so far. Originally, he wanted to raise £1,000. And there you go. He's got £1,225. And I think the stretch goal has gone up on it. So it's all great. All great. So it's beyond his expectations. I would ask if anybody can, if you could share that. If I put the link in the chat. Now, the reason I ask for you to share it is because it will just help with its traction. It will help Pete try and raise some more funds, which is really, really something very important and quite close to my heart, certainly. So if I put the link in the chat there, it's quite a long one, but if you can do that, that would be great. You know, it's an awful disease. It really is. And I can't see it ever being cured, but the least we can do is try and provide the right kind of care for people and families where they do have it. It's an awful thing. The other fundraiser I want to show you, as he's in the house, is Russ. Now, Russ has a very serious issue with YouTube at the moment, in particular, conduct coming from certain places, and he intends to take legal corrective action to deal with the situation. The problem is lawyers don't come cheap. That's the problem. And he started a fundraiser as well to try and raise money to help with his legal fees. And I wanted to give you the progress of that as well. I mean, it's very important because if Russ gets justice and if Russ, manages to sort that out, not only is it good for Russ, it sets a precedent for anybody else that finds himself in this situation. Russ is a friend of mine. We've met many times personally. I know what he's about. He's a decent, upstanding bloke. And what's happening to him is absolutely disgusting. And he's raised £2,795 for so far to go towards the legal costs. And I think that's wonderful. Been filing loads of stuff this evening, ready for my lawyer tomorrow. Cheers, Andy. You're welcome, my friend, anytime. And as you say, online harassment has consequences. That's right. I did a video earlier on, which will come out tomorrow, because I got to thinking, I've been doing YouTube a fair amount of time now, and YouTube's a funny thing. You kind of learn as you go along and, realize what you do, what you don't do, what you say, what you don't say, and how you respond and react to certain things. And I thought what I wanted to do is put it all in a video called The Dark Side of YouTube. And this is the thumbnail for that video, and that will be out tomorrow at 11 o'clock. It's kind of a video in two parts. It's about 10 minutes long, and it says about the positives of YouTube, what YouTube has done for me in my life, which is absolutely brilliant, and also goes through the possible negativities, the issues you can have, and the possible ways and techniques and strategies you can use to navigate those issues. And hopefully, if anybody with a YouTube channel is online and sees it, it will help somebody, which is the whole point. Now, let's get into some nitty gritty, shall we? Speaking of trolls and internet, I was sent this earlier. Somebody's been messing around with AI. You can get the drawings done and the graphics done. Somebody sent me that earlier, and I thought it was wonderful. There was two versions of that, but I chose that one because it had YouTube across the hairline, and I thought that was absolutely superb. I think that was Microsoft AI or something like that. So pretty cool. Right, here's the first question. Angela Rayner. Do you think she's guilty? Now, bear in mind, there's no libel or anything here. I'm merely asking a question. Do you think that she's guilty? 1 for yes, 2 for no. And I'm talking about this tax business. So 1 for yes, 2 for no. Russ says yes. Yeah, one. Yes, all ones. For the most part, yes. Now, I found a funny picture, or I was sent a funny picture, rather. I've had a couple of them, but this is the latest one. Just having a game of Monopoly with Angela Rayner. She keeps claiming to not own properties. She clearly does. Now, that amused me. I'm very sorry, but it did. And there was another one with her on as well. This is the point. If you're in a public position, if you're in office or anything like that, where people look up to you, people see you, and you've got a measure of responsibility. If you've got any skeleton in your closet, people are going to find it, and they're going to go for you, and they're going to keep going for you until, until they've achieved their goal, getting rid of you. Now, somebody just mentioned Carol Vorderman, and there was an interesting thing I found. I didn't have time to upload it, so I stuffed it on my phone. There you go. Not guilty. I heard Carol Vorderman going on about it all afternoon. Thank you, Jean-Marc. And there's the tweet right there, Carol Vorderman with LBC. And it reads, and I quote, "I'm absolutely incensed, and it's made me even more determined to do everything I possibly can to make sure they lose as many MPs as possible." Carol Vorder speaks to caller Kyle, who believes Angela Rayner tax row is just a distraction from other Tory affairs. Well, I suppose it could be seen as a distraction from other Tory affairs, but the problem is, all the while they're talking about Angela Rayner, they're not talking about the Tories. That's their whole argument. But at the end of the day, it's a scandal. It involves a situation where she's possibly lied. And I say possibly, innocent until proven guilty every time. It's, justice, even though we all have our opinions. And she holds the position she does. And yet again, it just shows what a whole goddamn mess our political establishment is in. Because whether she's guilty or not, political mileage is being used out of it, and it's distracting away from what needs doing for the good of this country and the people in it. Send them all to the sun, Ryan says. Screw crime. She lied about not being at that party with Keir Starmer and got away with it, so no guesses what the outcome will be in it. Good point. That was brought up in the press, actually. Also, you remember the earbuds? With that, I've been asked to do a review of a set of new earbuds, and that'll be coming out hopefully this week. So I'll let you in on that as well. But the other thing as well, which stuck out at me when I actually saw this piece, and again, there it is, Carol Vorderman on LBC. Now, GB News keeps getting in trouble because they've got politicians acting as newsreaders, and they keep going on about, the non-biasedness of that situation. On LBC, you have politicians acting as radio anchors. I had to be careful how I said that, didn't I? Reading news articles and responding. And they're going to be responding in a way which is biased towards their political affiliations. Yet every time they don't get done. Carol Vorderman has a job on LBC, and it's more than bleeding obvious. She wants to completely tear apart the whole Conservative Party and make them lose. She's lefty Labour till the cows come home. That's obvious. And that's who she wants in power. So totally anti-Tory. I get it. There's problems right across the board. But should she be allowed to use her platform to, try and implement that political change? Should she be politically neutral? The BBC told her to piss off because she refused to be neutral. Now she's on LBC spouting all sorts. Something doesn't add up there. Let me know what you think in the comments, and hopefully we can get a couple starred and get them read out. Right, Sadiq Khan. Let's start on him, shall we? Here we are. London mayor election. Sadiq Khan launches climate action plan for London. Yes, I coughed when I saw that one. If this person gets elected on May the 2nd, we're going to get another 4 years of him in London. This is the kind of thing you can see everything getting doubled down on. I saw another news article earlier on where it said that he's forced a position where he's legally obliged to look into pay per mile. He's talking about sticking solar panels on school buildings and all sorts of weird and wonderful net zero things. He thinks London could be net zero by 2030. Cycles everywhere, buses everywhere, cars charged the hell out of, and it gets even worse. And wonders why we have a problem. Now, they're all going on about, to get Sadiq Khan out, let's vote Susan Hall in. She's no bloody good either, because she's part of the establishment, which is completely and utterly crook. We need to go somewhere else. I mean, I interviewed Howard Cox on this channel months ago now, and I liked him. I thought he was a nice guy, and spoke to him privately, just off the side. And I've had another one. This is the police commissioner for Gloucester, Matthew Randolph. And, there's unknowns coming out all the time, and they need as much pushback as possible. They need as much publicity as possible to give them half a chance of getting anywhere. But the way the media engine is set up in this country, it's not great, because it's set up for the other two. So that's where you need the likes of me, Maya Tusi, Paz, and any other person that covers news and current affairs on a regular basis to try and raise their profile. Because at the end of the day, it ain't going to work out. Here's a very relevant comment. Khan is not your friend, West says. Thank you for that. Appreciate that comment. Now, why did I say that's relevant? Have a look at this. This is one of the news pieces that I pulled out. Sadiq Khan snubs hustings for deaf and disabled. Look at him smug there. Sadiq Khan has been accused of not listening to disabled voters after shunning a hustings for deaf and disabled Londoners. That doesn't sound good to begin with, doesn't it? Mr. Khan's main opponent in the 2024 mayor elections also failed to join the meeting on Tuesday, which was attended by 150 voters who'd hoped to meet the mayor and other candidates. The mayor of London has faced fierce criticism from campaign groups who feel that London's so-called floating bus stops, where pedestrians cross a cycle lane to reach the floating bus stop, pose a danger to blind pedestrians. Yes, and a bit like silent electric cars and all the rest. So you can see where that is going straight away. He's got a complete obsession with actually, pedestrianising the whole damn city, and it'll make it grind to a halt. Now, I thank you, Johnny Smart, for sending me this while we were talking. Sadiq Khan has committed himself to pay per mile. There you go. Now, Johnny has just sent me this. Sadiq Khan legally committed himself to exploring pay per mile. Now, that's an article that come up in the Telegraph. Apparently, there is a way of reading the Telegraph online without having to pay their fee. I'm going to have to try and give that a try. But it says here, he's committed to exploring a pay per mile scheme for drivers. A legally binding document suggests. In his official strategy, which is a formal legal status, the mayor says Transport for London would investigate proposals for the next stage of road user charging. Now, this caused an absolute stink online, because all the lefties who believe everything he says come out and said he's not going to do pay per mile. He said he won't do pay per mile. You're all talking cobblers. You're all conspiracy theorists. Go away and stick your head in the sand. Well, somebody quite rightly said that he will do it. He'll just call it something else. And I quite well believe that. Hello, Julie Keys. Good to see you on another one. Hope you are well. We've got to stop this guy getting back in. Otherwise, I fear for the future of London. And particularly if you get a Labour government in, will it spread? Will it go everywhere else? Who knows? Anyway, let's have a look at the next thing. We talk about weird lefty things. You've got net zero, and it's absolutely crippling. You saw the comment I made just then about London. He wants to recommit to making London net zero by 2030. And I'm bringing a video out tomorrow to do with Richard Hammond, some comments he's made about electric cars. And I happen to agree with them. I react to his comments, and he said there'll still be internal combustion engines on the road by 2050. It's just never going to go away, no matter how much they try. So, net zero is impossible. The only way you get net zero is if we all stop breathing. And Mr. Schwab apparently is very sick in hospital. Thank you, Chris Card. I was aware of that before I came on the air. He's one of the architects of this whole scandal, and maybe he will hold his breath. Who knows? Well, here we go. This is a bit of a slap in the face for net zero. Another one. It's all to do with the North Sea. Yeah, you know, all this net zero stuff is doing is pushing up the prices of literally everything. And biggest North Sea oil find in decades to be drilled for the first time. You'd see a good old-fashioned oil rig there. I've heard it before loads and loads of times about how much natural gas and everything is sitting under our feet untouched, and they're going on about net zero. It really is nuts. A UK energy company is to start drilling at the biggest oil field discovered in the North Sea in at least 20 years, in spite of a net zero crackdown on the industry. EnQuest plans to bring 2 fields on stream which have the potential to produce 500 million barrels of crude oil over the coming decades. The sites, which enable Kraken oil and gas field 80 miles east of Shetland, will reignite the political battle over the North Sea's future, in which Labour has threatened to block new production, citing environmental concerns. Their planned intervention has prompted warnings from energy companies that the UK risks cutting off its own energy supplies before it has a replacement. Resulting Kraken cluster will have combined reserves larger than either Rosebank or Cambo, controversial fields west of Shetland, which attracted a backlash of environmental campaigners. So, you know, you can see all that resource sitting under our feet, and to no avail. It's not really a great thing that it's all left untouched, and we need those resources ourselves. We need to be self-sufficient. Just a quick one. I just seen a drop in my signal. Can I just have a sound check? Can everybody hear me okay? If I can have a 1 for yes or a 2 for no. A 1 for yes or a 2 for no. I can see some of our comments coming in as well, which we'll deal with very, very shortly. Yeah, you can all hear me okay. Yeah, when I go through and read the screens, I have to go off somewhere else, and I come back on, and I saw the signal was rubbish, so I thought, oh God, not again. But there we go. Yes, so we'll see how that situation develops with the energy. We need our bills to come down. We need people to get sensible about this, not rush it through. It's a mad dystopian agenda, which isn't going to get anything anywhere. I mean, I did a video, I think it was a day or two ago now, about, you know, Sadiq's vision for London, you know, trying to get net zero by 2030. And this is the thumbnail for that video. So you can go and check that out on the channel as well. And that will let you know what I thought of that one. I have an opinion just about everything. One of the polls I put on, I'm going to show you the results of this, was about facial recognition in our streets. Do you approve of it? Nearly 6,000 people voted, and 82% said, no, we don't approve of it. Now, when I was talking about facial recognition, they were talking about sticking new technology within shops and supermarkets. It's, you know, quite scary what they can keep an eye on these days. It really is. I've got a quick question I saw on one of the news articles I just showed you. Has anybody ever used HelloFresh? You know, the grocery company, you get the big box. Has anybody ever used it? Give me a 1 if you have and a 2 if you haven't. Facial recognition isn't going to work if you got it. Yeah, absolutely. No, I never used them. Never used them. There's a lot of you that haven't used them. Right. HelloFresh. I can't really do it because I've got the 2 boxes over there. But you go on their website and you pick how many people you want to feed, how many meals you want, and they send you a big cardboard box full of all the ingredients. And they're all pre-cut and everything, so there's no food wastage or anything else, and you just make your meal. Well, I got approached by HelloFresh, and they asked me to do a promotional video for them, which is going to come out on the 17th. It's what we call an integration, and it goes in the middle of one of my pre-existing videos. And where they sent it through to me, I've got some voucher codes where you can actually get a box for free and then a certain percentage off your other boxes. Now, there's no contractual obligations at all with any of that. So every now and again, when I get some codes, if there's anybody that wants, well, some free food, basically, I'll get you a code over, so and hopefully it will help somebody if they have the need. So bear that in mind. Russ just said refrigerated on arrival. Yeah, when it comes in, you stick it in the fridge. But one of the clever things they do in the box, they have these ice packs, and they're designed in such a way that when they defrost, they're actually a bag of water, which you can tip on the plants if you've got any plants indoors. So it's very, very good. Magnus, Discount Dragon is better than Hello. There's loads of them out there, isn't there? I mean, I've used HelloFresh because basically I was approached and asked to do it. And I thought, yeah, why the hell not? So there we go. Right, the last article that I wanted to show you, and then we'll start looking at some of the comments, is about Heathrow Airport. Not my favourite place in the world, closely followed by Luton, where I went a couple of days ago. I was actually going to meet up with Paz after the Luton, but we didn't get the chance because Paz had to work, which wasn't ideal. But there you go. Screw crime. Anyone else tried mussel food before? I know the one you mean. That's the high protein stuff, isn't it? I've not tried that before, but I did look at it when I was training a lot. Yeah, Heathrow Airport slams new £10 transit charge amid record passenger traffic. Now, what's that transit charge? A new £10 charge for visa-exempt passengers travelling through the hub is a huge blow, despite reporting a second consecutive month of record passenger traffic. Some 6.7 million passengers passed through the hub in March, up 8% from the previous year, and bringing the year-to-date figures to 18.5. North American and European Union trips made up the lion's share of the total at 1.6 and 2.1 million. Trips to Asia Pacific region soared 18% to 892,000. Heathrow's chief executive, Thomas Waldby, or Waldby, how you pronounce it, called on the government to exempt airside transit passengers from the ETA scheme to avoid encouraging passengers to spend and do business elsewhere. I mean, that's dead right. The more you charge people, the more they're going to, well, bugger off elsewhere, aren't they? And spend their money where it's cheaper. Now, that's the transit charge. The what's the word? The parking charges aren't great either. You've got Gatwick, £6 for 15 minutes. You've got $7.50 for, I think it's 15 minutes at Stansted. Luton's dropped their charges at the moment. I was up there the other day, and it was free. Where they'd burnt the car park out, where the whole car park was in tatters, it's actually free. And you know they've got it set up quite nicely to get in and out, so it's not too bad. Good evening, Jason. Hope you're well. And you know they just put the prices up all the time, all in the name of, well, recovery from the old kung flu is what they called it. Not great. Anyway, we're at the halfway mark, so let's have a look at what you've got to say for yourself and try and address some of your comments now. Before I do that, if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button. We've got about 240 people watching. and it'd be great to get somewhere near that amount of likes. We usually manage that, so all good. Thank you for joining me. If you are new here, checking in for the first time as well, please subscribe to the channel, because that's good also. Blood Nose has been busy tonight. I've got a load of comments to go and have a look at, so let's get started. Right, Peter. Funny how words make us laugh. I'm a dustman and do a road called Beltinge Road, and I smile. I suppose if you said that wrong, it could sound like something else, couldn't it? There are some funny road names around. I just found... I want to see if I got it. Yeah, I didn't upload it. Speaking of funny road names, frankly, and somebody underneath put, "My dear, I don't give a damn." That was actually in the paper. The person that sent that to me, I think it was Julie, sent that over. She told me it actually made the press, so it made somebody laugh. Coming up to my mum's anniversary. You know what, Ryan? First of all, I'm sorry. My condolences. And it's amazing, isn't it, when you lose somebody close, how the time they left to now just gets larger and ever so much more quickly. And it seems like they become a memory back there on the wall somewhere. It's quite scary how time flies, isn't it? I mean, I've lost people in my life, and yeah, it's heartbreaking how quick it goes. West Rise UK, GB the Farmers showing the way. God, they're all over the place, aren't they? They really are all over the place. I haven't seen them in the news lately, but they've been making their presence felt, definitely. Jean-Marc, well, SHS did say the comment about the Tory scum until she was made to apologise. Yeah, I remember that one. You know, when people say something, it depends on what side of the fence you are on, doesn't it? Some people get away with it. Others don't. They get completely and utterly chastised. Peter Nicolik, yes. Who was the one that was kicking off when a few got together for a few beers? Pot calling the kettle black or what? They're all at it. You had Keir and his mates down the road in one place, and Boris and his buddies eating cake and drinking in another. They're all at it. And we were expected to stay at home. Don't get me started. If I knew now, if I knew then what I know now, I would have certainly behaved very different. I have to tell you, Phil. If we were allowed to follow the money trail, they'd be all involved. But we all know this and keep voting. Yeah, I bring a. There's a video coming out tomorrow again, you know, and we've so many disenfranchised people sit at home and do nothing because they're fed up. They think, what's the point? There's got to be, you know, something. She can't be the attack dog anymore like SHW was. Yeah, people will get their comeuppance in the end. They always do. Luke Farrell, evening everyone. Hope you're well. If Rayner hadn't been so vociferous, is that how you say that? In her attacks over Tory sleaze, then she'd have been ignored. But can we just demand better from politicians, from every MP? Amen. I'm right with you there, Luke. That's the whole point I've been trying to make. Yes, it might distract from the Tories. Yes, she might have done something a bit naughty. But yes, it just illustrates what a crock the whole thing is. And we must demand better. Otherwise, out. It's, you know, can't get any plainer than that. Khan is now saying he'll tackle. Yeah, and I'm a circus clown, to be quite honest. There's no teeth in the law anymore. We've been bogged down with bureaucracy, paperwork, too much pandering to those who don't need pandering to, and we've lost the basic sight of, you know, common human decency towards each other, and that's coming in droves. And when you get the different demographics all clashing together, It's a cooking pot. I mean, Maya Tutsi, I'll give him a shout out. You look at some of the events he's covered in London. It ain't great. Chris, I'm worried about Tutsi TV. Not seen him since breaking the news about Iran targeting Israel. Yeah, I saw those last night. I know Maya's had a few problems where he's been getting threats, and he even has to go out with a stab-proof vest on. It really is getting quite serious. I just hope he is okay. He may just be having a little respite. You never know, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm sure it'll show up. Daphne, the trouble is postal voting. I know I have a postal vote, but would be willing to stop that, to stop the voter fraud, which I feel is going on. The original purpose of postal votes was fine. You know, everybody who couldn't get out, the elderly, the infirmed, who wanted a chance to vote, yeah, okay. But opening it up to everybody, it's open to abuse in my mind, and I agree with you. That's probably happening. Lily, the Iran and Israel episode was shown on Norwegian mainstream media, was it? Okay. Well, it's worldwide news, isn't it? And I'm interested in how it's interpreted by the mainstream, to be honest. You know, I don't talk a lot about it because I'm a little bit nervous about talking about things I can't have an educated debate or discussion about. That's just me. But I have done a video for tomorrow where I said, you know, help me to understand. I'll give you like a general overview of what I think and invite you to comment. You know, you tell me. Jean-Marc, the mayor should be inclusive of everybody. Yeah, I mean, if you're elected as a mayor of a city, then surely your responsibility is to all of the citizens of that city, not just a select few. Quite a novel idea, that. Andy, have you heard of Jeff Taylor, Pure Salvation? Yes, I have. Great YouTuber. I don't watch him a lot. You know, every now and again, one of his pops up in my timeline. I do listen to it then. But he's someone else that gets the word out. Michael Hancock, did you see what his hired gang did to anti-ULEZ? Yeah, I did. Arrested. And all they were doing was peacefully saying, we don't like this. I think they were let out, weren't they? I think the next day or something. Where are we? Matt Woodson, Andy, 12-foot ladder lets you watch news stories behind the paywall. That works. That works. In France, they cancelled the electric car sharing scheme in Paris, where I am. You have to have a little disc as well, don't you? Like an environmental disc, depending on the output of your car. Something like that, I read somewhere. Schwab is very ill. Too early to get the Well, he must be getting on a bit. How old is he? Somebody tell me how old he is. Google it and have a look. John Lane, government will lose billions in tax if net zero comes in. Never happening. No. And if they did, what would they screw over to make up for the lost tax revenue? And that is another matter entirely. Richard Vobes, he had a guest on, because you know the whole thing about your name and like your lowercase name and your capital name. You've got the real you and the corporate. There's a video that Richard Vobes did where you can basically buy the authority back to have control over your name by registering it as a limited company. I started listening to that and it sounded quite intriguing. I haven't finished the rest of it yet, but want to check out if you get a chance. Lily, don't make them think you're crazy. Don't let them think you're alone. Trust yourself. Know what we are. Many people that do not buy the BS, they just censor us. There's a guy called Hal Moore. Let's see if I can find him. Hal Moore. Now, he's retired. I mean, he's passed away now. I've just got a Google page about him. He passed away a few years ago, but he's a ex-US Army general. He's very famous because he was on the ground as the lieutenant colonel in charge in pretty much the first major engagement of the Vietnam War. And he had a load of sayings, and one of them was, if your head's telling you one thing and your gut's telling you another, trust your gut, because it'll seldom be wrong. And he's absolutely right. Absolutely right. I try and live by that as much as I can. John Harris, this is what happens when you stop buying cheap oil and gas. Absolutely. Another net zero one, Robert Allport. Net zero is all about pushing up prices and nothing else. I agree with you, wholeheartedly agree with you, because since that started and you've had all the problems over, Eastwood way, things have just been going up. I mean, you take the diesel for my car. I have a fuel card for Shell, and I get a certain fixed price every week. And sometimes it's not bad, and other times it's disgraceful. But there is a large variation of it now, a large variation. Nigel, so where are we going to send the oil if we can't use it? Yeah. I mean, we're trying to demonize them at the moment, aren't we? And we keep giving them money. So you can't have it one way or the other. Declan, Ireland is watching London because all this will come to them. Khan train keeps rolling. They won't put up with it over there. I doubt very much they will. Matt Woodson, ban all oil. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Electric cars still use rubber tyres and eat them up faster than ice engines. Yeah, that was in the news a while back, and it's all to do with the weight, isn't it? And the possible braking. It's not great. Jean-Marc Bordeaux, did you know, Andy, that they have 2 electric cables under the English Channel called connectors? So the UK does get top up of electricity from France in the high demand periods. Yes, I did know that, Jean-Marc, but I didn't know how often or what the criteria was, but I did know about them. There is a map somewhere which shows you all of the power lines going here, there, and everywhere. And I remember seeing it. Someone like Retro on his bikes has probably been over there and maybe done work on them on one of the ships he's been on. You never know. Hit the like button, everyone. That's what Kevin Froud says. Thank you very much. No to facial recognition, as it will become like China. Yes. Well, it seems like this is the way it's going, isn't it? I've just had another news article sent to me about Thames Water. There you go. They have 6 weeks to agree a survival plan with Ofwat. And they've got a load of investors and everything, which are probably nervous at the moment. And rightly so. But I think there's a Chinese company involved in them. Correct me if I'm wrong. Privatizing our energy, biggest mistake ever. It's just led to profits. We need affordable energy everywhere. Handy, not so much a technology, potential for abuse. Absolutely, with any of it, there always is. Pure salvation, British politicians and common sense do not go in the same sentence. Damn right. What did they say? Labour and Conservatives, 2 cheeks of the same arse. And when a politician's lying, their lips move. Quite old sayings. Hopefully some of that stereotype might be changed one day. Morrison's monkey, prefer to get off my arse and go out and buy my grub. Fair enough. That is fair enough. Everybody has different lifestyles there. I mean, I love it because, it's pre-done ingredients and everything else. Meal for 2. I can cook me and the missus some dinner. And, yeah, great. Leslie Barrett, Kant is the mayoral leader of the C40 bollocks. That's why he wants to pedestrianise London. Yeah, I mean, people lose sight of that. If you haven't heard of that, go on. In fact, let's do it now, shall we? Let me just Google this quick. If you go on C40 cities, let's just find it. They changed the team. C40 Cities is they've changed it all now. So there's a chair and a co-chair. Because Sadiq Khan used to be the chairperson all on his own. Now there's a co-chair as well. But the long and short of it, he's in charge of this shower. There he is, Sadiq Khan, C40 co-chair and Mayor of London. C40 co-chair and Mayor of Freetown, Sierra Leone. And this is all about, ridding us of transport, limiting this, that, and the other, all in the name of the environment. It's nuts, in my view, and a lot of other people as well. But go and have a look at C40 Cities, and it will give you a better idea. Nigel the handyman, buy all my fruit and veg at any local farm and only pay cash. Same with local butcher. It's good if you can get it. We had a great farm shop here near us, and great fresh stuff, but it's all shut now because of the supermarkets and everything else. Play apps. My bet for our current mayor is not pay per mile, but pay per minute. A journey during rush hour will be charged more than at 3 a.m. Could be right. Time per travel, pay per time, whatever. Always poo. T5 is nice. Luton is a dive. Yeah, absolutely. Heathrow is okay once you're there. It's the getting there that's the problem. Around junction 10 to junction 12, they got a load of roadworks, and it's awful. They're putting a new junction in, basically, but the utter chaos that it's caused, unbelievable. Luton, I'd agree with the whole dive thing. It's not really my favourite. Peter, haven't bought meat or veg in a supermarket for over 20 years. Are you another one that does the farm shops and the butchers? Is that right, or have you got another method? Jim, improve your thumbnails, mate. We are not mind readers. Fair enough, Jim. Fair comment. I'm always playing with thumbnails, and I'm always playing with titles, because I do a video on a subject, and I want you to watch it. And the way YouTube say it is, the thumbnail is the hook, and the title explains it. So you've got to do the thumbnail in such a way that it hooks you in, it gives you the idea, and then read the title and it explains it. I mean, I'll give you, let's see, I'll find it. I'll give you a couple of examples here. And you'll see how my mind works, and I'm always into suggestions if you have any, like this one, dark side. Now this goes with a video, the dark side of YouTube. It's me, it's my channel, dark side, the dark side of YouTube. Could do with a YouTube emblem there maybe, but we'll see that. This one, which came out the other day, you're welcome, Chris. This was about China's intervention with the postal system. So you got China did it, an envelope with fake, referring to the fake stamps, the Chinese flag in the background, and a mailbox full of Chinese stuff with a postman there. So, that is my thought process when I put the things together. And I try and do it all. Clownwell YT. Now, this is a guy that helped me out with titles and stuff a long time ago. Subscribe to his channel too. He's a friend of mine. I struggle with titles too. I would love to put all the info in the title, like the main stat, but it would deter clicks, I believe. Yeah, what you have to do, and I've taken advice on this. What you have to do, you can have a title that makes sense, but the amount of words that you have to display in the first part is only about 4 or 5 words. So what you have to do, you have to get the key words or the key points at the beginning of the sentence. Like, I think Luton Airport is a dive. Could be Luton Airport is a dive, I think. So then you shut Luton Airport to the front, different ways of doing it. It's a work in progress, really. CFC Daniel, I love my local Gatwick. The only downside is the £5 drop off. Yeah, well, they've put it up to £6 now. I don't know if you knew that. I got done £6 this morning. I like Gatwick as well because you got all the parking around there as a taxi driver, if you know what you're doing. And the Tesco's around the corner. Do a decent breakfast if you've got time to kill. Andy, is that a punch bag I see behind you? Yes, it is. I want to try and get hold of one of those ballistic bobs, the life-size things, but they're quite difficult to get hold of, and they cost a bleeding fortune when you find them. Cosmic War Toad, the three team leaders were at each other the other day, so I called them Joe Biden, Xi Jinping, and Vladimir Putin because the way they were carrying on in front of the customers. Oh my God. CFC Daniels, Gatwick parking Langley Green Crawley and take the number 10 bus around the corner to Gatwick. Much cheaper. Yeah, that's true. Well, all I do is just pass the costs on. You ain't got a choice, really. Kiwi wife, last time I parked at Gatwick in the long-term parking, my car was broken into. I use taxis now. Bugger parking. I've heard a couple of horror stories, Kiwi wife. I think someone's car was wrecked when they came back to it, and there was something else happened to another one. And there was a controversy as well where all of the cars were kept in a field. And not necessarily Gatwick, it was somewhere else. And they'd all been driven around and covered in mud while people were away. And all the keys were thrown in buckets. It was a disaster. Peter Snowling, Stansted has also started charging for motorbikes. Oh, okay. I did not know that one. Wrong one. Lightail, English Constitution Party Society now up and running. Give government back to the people. Absolutely. I mean, there's an awful lot. We're told about legislation. We're told we're going to mandate this, legislate that, new law for this, new law for that, and that none of it means a shit. I mean, Bar Brady, England disappeared in 1711. You go back as far as the Acts of Union around that time period, and you read about what went on and why. And then there's certain points along the line after that, particularly something happened around, I forget the actual year, but something happened around the early 1970s, which, from what some people are saying, puts a kibosh on an awful lot of what we lead to believe is legal now. It's a crazy world we live in, and we've been educated to believe it's correct. Hard Tulip, the Iran missile and drone attack was pretty scary, though. Maybe you were talking about that. Yes, as I said, I steer away from things I don't understand, but things need talking about. So I try with a video tomorrow, try and come up with a bit of conversation about it, and try and encourage some comments. Hard Tulip, sick and tired of this 14-year Tory government. Labour soon. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of all of them. Why the hell should we have Labour? Well, why can't we have someone else that might do a better job than both of them? I mean, for the last few generations, awful. Bar Brady, 78. I thought it was 73, but if it's 78, you might be right. Peter Nicollet, that is one thing I refuse point blank to do, stay at home. I carried on regardless. So did most people I know. At first, I'm ashamed to admit that I was one of these that, fell for the initial bull. And then when I woke up, I started getting a bit, sod that, I'm going out, and started going and doing bits and pieces. But a lot of other places were shut down and all sorts, weren't they? CFC Daniels, if I could, I would prefer Parliament to be fully independent, no parties. I agree with you 100%, because then you've got no bias then towards a party. You're making independent decisions on behalf of your constituents. Rhinyard Music, I'm curious about what percentage of English versus foreign language is heard by most as they go down the high street. It's crazy here. I got that in mind. I mean, I live in a part of town, and my friend Dave lives about 3 miles away from me, 2 to 3 miles. And when I go and have a drink with him, I will walk to his. And parts of the town that I walk through, I barely hear any English anymore. It's crazy. Keir Starmer can't defend Angela behind his multi-million. Yeah. Now, I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? Labour Party. And he's a Tory in a red tie, in my view. Sorry, but that's the way I feel. They're all the same. But Unplugged, voting for the lesser of the two evils is still evil. Yep, I hate that saying. You should have another choice. Mark's Adventures. I sent an email letter to my MP, put it in my community, asking if there'll be an 18th of April debate on excess deaths, and told him I will be voting accordingly. Yeah, will there? I've been trying to keep up with that. I know Andrew Bridgen's been doing a lot. No one on this channel will vote. I certainly won't. I don't know about anybody else. Screw crime. Many Iran plead poverty after sending numerous weapons on a pointless attack. I shall not be dipping my hand in the pocket to feed their children. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, I mean that ties in with foreign aid as well, doesn't it? We give all these millions of pounds everywhere, and you look what they do in their own countries, and you think, hang on a minute. Dixie, it's a pleasant chat. No talking about Markles, thanks. It's a Markle-free zone here, Dixie. I can assure you of that. You know, all of that stuff smears itself all over the news. I don't care. It doesn't affect our everyday lives. Well, it doesn't affect mine. So I don't care. Leave other channels to talk about that if that's what they want to do. Squirrel Sniper, please check out the council tax case of Leighton versus Bristow and Souter. Yes, I started reading up about that, and it's very good reading. Michael Hancock, Jeff Buys Cars. Yes, I saw that. Jeff Buys Cars does have a video on his channel about well, it's an interview with one of the protesters that was at that ULEZ thing when they all got nicked. Matt Woodson, postal votes can help someone that works. Not everyone has the time to visit the polling station. I was serious about the 12-foot ladder. It's a site that... Oh, okay. I thought it was a joke. Sorry. Daphne Lynch, am I right in thinking that Ford are cutting back the production of electric vehicles? Yes, I have read that. And therefore, we'll see what happens. I think some of them have got themselves so wrapped up in this whole idea of it, though, haven't they? Richard Vobes, the fellow who pranced about as an alien on kids' TV back in the day. Yeah, Richard Vobes did a live stream with Russ ages ago. And he did one with Ryan as well. And I think I've seen them discuss the alien prancing about London in both cases. Jean-Marc, Russia and India are not doing net zero. They're building new power stations. This is the hypocrisy of the whole thing. If you look at the map of the world, the pollution map of the world, you see where it's all coming from. Why the hell are we being preached to about net zero? Crazy stuff. Michael Hancock, looking forward to St George's Day in London. Will be suited and booted for any eventuality. Yeah, they're trying to draw up support for it, aren't they? Absolutely. Magnum PI, with AI coming, we won't need to go to work anyway. That's a scary thought, isn't it? I mean, they keep talking about AI becoming self-aware and all that sort of thing. And watch Battlestar Galactica. Remember the Cylons? More likes, please. 251 watching and only 50 likes. Come on, you've got to do more than that. That's got to be out of date. We need at least 100. Let's get to 100, please. I'm not demonising the people of China, no matter what Biden, Parliament, their lapdogs and the newspapers tell me to do. Always look at a few different places when you're told something. That's what I've learned. From what I've heard, the country of Norway controlled Great Britain's power and fuel supply. And since the Ukraine thing started, they've upped exports 4 times. Norway is getting rich. Sylvia Spatman, everything's going up. Parking permits a lot, squeezing every penny they can out of us. I've had a couple of news things about parking permits. It is absolutely crazy. Uncle Max, check out how many of the top 10 EV charger companies are owned by oil concerns like Shell and BP. Absolutely right, you are. Absolutely right. And again, it's hypocritical, isn't it? Squirrel Sniper, Southern Water has broken all data protection as they were hacked with all customer detail. Yeah, that was a while ago, that wasn't it? Jean-Marc, is that Thames water you're drinking? No, it's Southern Water. So I don't know if there's a different taste, but yeah, again, no Coke. I'm trying my hardest to stay off of it. Oddity, King Charles is where also Jacinda Ardern. Guess who employs her? Yeah, absolutely. Is that a stolen pint glass you're drinking? You're the second person in 2 weeks to comment about the pint glass. This was actually a part of a gift set. It was a Copperberg pint glass and a bottle of Copperberg, which unfortunately didn't last very long. I went for a stage where I like Copperberg, but I'm not keen now. Britain's roads could have more than 100 times as many potholes as there are craters on the moon. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely average. You go other countries and see some of the roads there and then come back here and start doing this in the car. Really is a bit of a thing. Voting Labour is worse than what's running the country now. Look at the state of Wales, London and Birmingham. There you go. He's even nicked the pub snooker scoreboard. Oh, that up there. That's been there for years. When we came and moved in this house originally, in this garage, we had a snooker table and an old kid's snooker table, and we had it out here in the garage, and it was like a snooker room. And that snooker scoreboard has been up there ever since. Loads of black stuff in Andy's garage. I'll tell you what, if I moved the camera around here, you wouldn't believe it, and I'd get shot by her indoors, so I'm not going to. Let's try and rattle through the rest of these comments. Joel, quick trip. Just built 2 gas stations in my twin cities, 15,000 people, 20 gas pumps, 8 diesel pumps each, but not one car charging station. Funny, strange, multi-million-dollar new places. Unbelievable, isn't it? And they're trying to push for charging and electrics. God heavens, what would a troll say, Andy? Next you'll be drug smuggling under. Behave yourself. What's the difference between a crater on the moon and potholes on Earth? Neither have been attended to by a man. Yeah, you're right there. I wonder what you could hide in them. Morning Glory, please don't put commercials during your uploads, especially not during a live show. You'll lose subs, Andy. It's an integration which I've already agreed to. It'd never be in a live, and it won't be very often. What I will do is, if I'm approached again, I will negotiate a completely independent video. You either watch it or you don't. But when they presented it to me, I thought, oh, go on. We were talking about HelloFresh for a little while, actually, so I thought we'd give it a go. But I do hear you, and I take that on board. Ryan Yard, I do sometimes miss sanity checkers, but too much scrutiny online now. Yeah, I mean, I talk about that in my video, which comes out tomorrow, the pitfalls of it. I hope you find it useful if you are a YouTuber. Joel Aikner flips you off left-handed, adjusting his glasses, but using his index right hand. Must have a smart ass left. Now, I'm not totally ambidextrous. I'm slightly ambidextrous. That hand, and yeah, whatever. 2C TV, okay. He's doing a stream after you, Andy. Oh, excellent. That's great, Chris. Thanks for checking that out. That's a relief to anybody that was worried about him. Screw crime. That's a shame, Ryan, given the trouble we overcome with a certain Scottish wee bonny lass last year. You gave a voice to many a person. He's got a point, but that's down to you, isn't it, my friend? Uncle Max, if the absolute zero report is taken up by government, you'll only have Heathrow, Glasgow, and Belfast airports by 2030. Well, let's hope not, because I hate going to Heathrow. Oddity, the monarchy allowing Islam. Don't. They were in somewhere else as well, weren't they? Sorry, missed your live due to golf. How dare you? No, it's all right. Glad you come here. Give us a thumbs up. You're here every week. So the golf is the golf. And Nigel the handyman. Good night, folks. Going to 2C TV. Oh, I see. Well, that's the end of the comments. And I appreciate Bon Machine. Take care, Andy. I appreciate all your input, all of your support, likes, and everything else. Really do. Don't forget, videos coming out tomorrow. Andy, a live stream with Pass 49, please. We were talking about doing another one to do with army war pensions. That's gone off the boil, but we will talk about that and try and get that organised soon, because I did a live with him, and I think that went down quite well. So, yeah, videos coming out tomorrow from 8 o'clock. There'll be 4 of them. £10 super chat on the way out by Mr. Woodward. The best way to destroy democracy is not to vote. The option we have is our voting system. It's the only tool we have. I do not consent is the way to do it. Look up I do not consent. I very much appreciate the £10 super chat. Well, on that note, thank you, everybody. Make sure you hit the like button, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Toodaloo.